Okay. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this T7 session about evaluating impact of research. We will start with an online talk. Let me put this here, otherwise I cannot read it. It's from Andrea Girolamodibari. It's here already. You will talk about International Astronomical Union General Assembly in 2024, reporting and evaluation of social media outreach efforts and open access features. The floor is yours, Andrea. You have 10 minutes.
Thank you. So first of all, thank you everybody for being here to this session. And in January 2024, I asked myself this question: how do you run social media for a global scientific conference? Well, I've looked online, I searched, research or practice insight, but I couldn't find anything that was satisfactory enough with an evaluation process, with data. And that's the effort behind the paper and this talk that I'm presenting here today, to provide some sort of evaluation and benchmarking of our efforts for future endeavor, to just not build from scratch, but to have something to build upon. So the case study here was the General Assembly in 2024. A little bit about the General Assembly. It had more than 2,000 participants and involved more than 1,000 countries. It was a first on different aspects, and among them, the social media and open access stream. Our social media plan and goals was basically divided in three stages. The first one was to make Africa visible and to position Africa and in general South Africa within the global astronomy community as a trusted partner, both in terms of science, but also as tourism and economic partner and as a nation. We also wanted to show impact of the GA, both again in the global and local community, in terms again of scientific, social, and cultural. And we also wanted to bring astronomy in the feed of people on social media. The plan to do that was sorry, I skipped a slide. Yeah, it was divided in three steps. The first 3 months, January, March, was to relaunch the conference and boost abstract submission. Then, in the 3 more months, we wanted to encourage registration and highlight South Africa also as a tourism hub, and basically drive traffic to the website. In the last part of the conference, we also had wanted to show the program, the sponsor, the outreach, and the live events happening at the time during the conference. To carry out this, we basically had two main project leads. The team was composed by two project leads, 3 main volunteers helping, and up to 6 more volunteers during the conference. Of course, we adopted numerous platforms for different target audience, so every content was slightly updated and tailored for different audience. You can find a lot more in the paper, especially regarding population of different platform. Among them, for example, we had Facebook and Instagram. Instagram was a little bit more visual, LinkedIn for professional, Flickr as a photo repository, X, because X and Blue Sky are basically the standard in scientific literature, and of course YouTube as the open access stream. To perform this study, we worked with different data sources. Among them, the most important was platform-specific analytics from the platform themselves. They changed a little bit between platform, but overall, it was they could be benchmarked against between different platforms. We also work with post-conference participant survey, conference attendance data, of course, media monitoring from standard media, and of qualitative feedback directly from the participant at the conference. We had a reach of about 1.5 million across all platform, and as you can see in the plot on the right, Flickr was the main one where we got the most reach, and following Facebook, Twitter, and X. Then moving towards engagement, we found something really interesting in engagement. Engagement was systematically better in during the GA period, the dark gray line in the plot, and it reached peak of about 40% on Instagram, with an average on the total period of about 30%. And as you can see, the second place, there is LinkedIn with just 9%. So there was a huge difference. And among all the content and posts, the one that performed best were basically the one that resonated with people, place, and emotion. So again, an emotion connection with the content that we shared. What did not perform well was even high resolution and high quality video, for example, from sponsor. They didn't perform as well as other posts with an emotional connection to the audience. Then the most important and interesting results of this case study was the open access. The idea behind the open access was to create and stream all the scientific and outreach session live, free on YouTube. Everything was streamed on YouTube, and everything was not only streamed but also maintained as a repository, and it's still there on the YouTube channel. And there were two major insights using this open access. The first was that we involved 7,000 more people when compared to other General Assembly in the scientific discussion and outreach event. And that is for non-paying participant. So just a citizen or a non-astronomer that wanted to see the scientific session. But also within the participant, 85% of them found this YouTube open access useful in some way, because of course, imagine for I am online, I'm working at the moment, or there are differences in time zone. So again, I cannot follow all the session live, and this way of having a repository of all the session was extremely helpful. And the interesting part was that it took around only one person working full time to set up this whole stream. So nothing relatively low effort. Then going back to the social media, the post that really performed well, here you can see our four main performing posts, were basically all in some way connected to emotion. The first one was just connecting with the public and events they could follow, both live and in person. The second was the people at the GA, all the participants, and then again African milestone, and next GA, the one in Rome and the one in Chile, and again personalities and people. Here you can see a picture of our chair. For the people that don't know him, it's Kevin Governor, and it was the chair for the GA 2024. Of course, you can find a lot more information in the paper that will be published in the upcoming month in JCOM, Journal of Science Communication. But what I wanted to leave you is that social media is not just decoration. It was really part of the conference infrastructure. It improved drastically by 7,000 people. The amount of people that were involved in the scientific discourse and the scientific things and outreach session that were happening at the conference. and it was relatively low effort. So there was a double win for both participant and non-participant, the YouTube Open Access. Then again, even in time of AI, human-centered content continues to win. Emotion are what resonates with people, and emotion is what a social media campaign should be built upon. Build content pipeline early was something that we found was very useful to have a constant feed of information. And the most important takeaway I wanted to leave with is to expand evaluation effort. When I started, I didn't know where to look, where to build my work upon, and this sort of way that we are provided this structure, clear evaluation method allow us to not repeat every time we perform a social media campaign the same mistake over and over. We can learn from one each other and build upon the data that we are presenting, and for future endeavor like the one on Rome, the one in Rome, the G in Rome, will have all this stuff to benchmark against. So I will strongly suggest everybody to evaluate and share this evaluation with everybody. Again, you can see here my email if you want to connect with me, and in the QR code there's the my email again, just QR. Thank you, everybody.
Now you can hear me. Thank you. Let's thank the speaker. I think there are no questions online for now. Are there some questions here on the floor? Yeah.
Hello, Andrea. I'm Katia from Italy. I would like to know if you think it could be, I don't know, interesting or useful to have some session taught for people outside the conference. So for common people that are not so involved in science and they want to follow some event, they maybe not even be aware that there are scientific events that can be shared with them.
I think we are in a conference focusing on astronomy communication. So I am a little biased, but I think it should be a really big part of what we are doing, considering that we are doing science for the people to improve people's life and to improve our understanding of the cosmos. And everybody, if they want, should have a chance to experience that. So yes.
Any more questions? No. So thank Andrea. So let's
Thank
move
you.
to the next speaker. It's Ruth Kipchumba from Kenya. Ruth is here, yes, and she will talk about quantifying the impact of science communication strategies on astronomy outreach in Kenya. The floor is yours. You have 10 minutes. I will tell you when there's 3 and 1 to go.
Thank you very much. I am happy to be here today. And astronomy in Kenya is not really a new thing. It has been there since, a while. It is also cultural since from long ago, they used to use it to study the seasons. They also navigation, agriculture, and use it also for storytelling. So at the moment, we're still doing the education and impact for modern astronomy. Of course, integrating with cultural stuff. Yeah, so I will be speaking more of my time in Leo Sky Africa since last year I was a communications uh, team manager at Leo Sky Africa. So astronomy education, of course, matters a lot in Kenya, since you need to educate people about, since astronomy is, the literacy at the moment is quite low, and there's also growing light pollution in our cities. At the moment, Kenya is not at risk, but if we continue with our methods of lightings, of course, we will get to places where it will be a problem. And also gender gaps in our of course our science or in astronomy is a factor as well. So the opportunities that we have with communication is science literacy, environmental stewardship, of course, with sustainable education, inclusive STEM participation, and astrotourism, which is new in Kenya, and I am glad that I was part of the team that pioneered astrotourism march in the country. So for this is a research done between 2023 and 2025. So between that time, there are a lot of outreach initiatives by the Kenya Space Agency, by Leo Sky Africa, that is part of the team I was in, Space Generation Advisory Council. I also volunteer for SGC Africa, as well as Dark Sky Africa, Dark Sky Kenya. So traveling telescope as well. They do a lot of outreach initiatives in schools, in schools, even in public. They usually have events, public events. So some of the events were done between Kenya and Tanzania, mainly for astrotourism training around there. And we've seen collaborations between, mainly the Kenya Space Agency, as well as the, Leo Sky Africa with traveling telescopes, coming together to ensure that, the events are successful, as well as disseminating the astronomy, to the communities as well as schools. And the impact of this has been really great. And for traveling telescopes, they have been here for a really long while, and so far 650,000 students have been trained or have experienced the planetarium astronomy based lectures. And it has been, and we have seen also an increase in the female participation by 35%. So the great driver for this be during the past year, 2024-2025, has been the Women in Space Kenya. If you have seen, they have done really great job. And for Dark Sky Kenya, I don't know, they've been doing a lot of course, education and helping with policies. So this is the image there, as you can see, is an image of Nairobi at the moment. And I don't know if it's intentional, but it's a good thing because of the lighting that they put in Nairobi CBD. So it helps as well with reducing light pollution. So for the astrotourism, Kenya was projecting 2,000 plus visitors annually for it, and it's a good thing, of course, because it makes money for the community as well as Kenya itself. So for planetarium learning, there's a lot of outreach activities done by Leo Sky Africa. That's academic programs as well, Kenya Space Agency and Traveling Telescope. And the impact has been amazing since there are so many students interested in astronomy as well as science. And it also brings the classroom alive, which is good, yeah. So in September last year, on 7th September, of course, we had an event of the blood moon. It was it was blood moon and also the official launch of the astrotourism in Kenya, and it was huge because of the Ministry of Tourism was involved, as well as the government of Kenya, as well as, of course, Leo Sky Africa. Leo Sky Africa does a lot of astrotourism training for hotels and, mainly hotels, so that, we can take advantage of our dark skies at the moment to also get revenue. Yeah, in Kenya we are advantaged to have very dark skies, and we are also at the equator, so it's really good and advantageous for us. So last year it was really huge for Kenya since it was the government partnered with astrotourism efforts, and we are seeing so much growth in the industry, in the astronomy, astrotourism and the astronomy industry, which was very good. And also, since the government was involved, everyone knew about the blood moon all throughout the country, as well as the astrotourism launch. So it is really huge, a very huge milestone for astronomy and astrotourism in Kenya. Also, from this, the influence that has come out of this, of course, in economic development, as well as our dark skies. So the Dark Sky Kenya helps a lot with advocacy, and we have a lot of the star parties, a lot of them, and also lighting reduction workshops. Yeah. So for astrotourism, we have the Ministry of Tourism involved, and of course local economic opportunities. Since I think it's really nice when you visit Kenya. Maybe at the moment, the Samburu Super Lodge offers the astrotourism say experience. And say you visit Kenya, and then you have you have a Maasai showing you how to view viewing the sky through a telescope, taking photos under the sky of our galaxy. It's amazing. So for Women in Space Kenya, they have done a wonderful job, and last year we had a pioneering event which had over 500 delegates. Of course, the Kenya Space Agency is doing a lot with supporting, initiatives in Kenya. So this was part of another initiative that Kenya Space Agency really supported. It's supporting women, and it's amazing to see. So communication strategies that produce impact is, of course, immersive planetariums, storytelling, active participation in the mobile outreach. Yeah, so
Ruth,
okay.
Yeah, your time is over. Thank you very much for your talk. Let's thank the speaker. really interesting and really diverse group of activities that you do. I don't know if there's some questions online. Let me ask here. No questions online, and here there's any question here? No questions? So I am curious, what kind of public do you have in your astrotourism activities? Are there mainly people from Kenya or also foreigners? What's the mix of people that attend these sessions?
So it's mainly Kenyans, of course. Yeah, it's mainly Kenyans because it involves students, communities here in Kenya. So yeah, it's mainly Kenyans.
Okay. So thank you very much again, Ruth, for your talk. And let's move to the next speaker that it's in person. It's María Belén Lovino. That it's not here. You're there. I thought you would be here. Okay,
I am here.
Okay, you're here. You're here. Okay, so Maria will talk about Mind the Gap 2.0, dialogue between worlds. So the floor is yours, Maria. You have 10 minutes.
Well, thank you very much. So I'm María Belén. I'm currently working on science mediation at CNRS in France. This talk is a following up from my last presentation in the same conference 2 years ago. But this time, I'm not going to focus in all my activities in outreach and education, but in one particular activity that is this collection that is a science fashion collection that we are co-producing in between scientific teams around the world and outreach teams and myself, obviously. I'm going to try to present some evaluation I tried to make in this project. So the big project is called the Dialogue Between Worlds, and I'm going to present all the designs we have at the moment, but this is a project that is in process. So feel free to reach me if you have any idea for collaboration. So the first one you can see with a big plastic material is to talk about gravitational lensing and the theory of dark matter. The second one is the one I'm going to focus in this presentation is the neutrino kimono. Third one you can see with a hat is a particle detector that is hidden inside the hat, and each time a muon that comes from the galaxy and sometimes from outside the galaxy reach the detector inside the hat, you will see light in the dress. In the back, you see a golden one is made from the real material that uses satellite to go to the space, is Capton. The big skirt is to talk about cosmic inflation and the Big Bang, the process of creation of the universe. And the top part is transparent because at this moment there is no theories before the Big Bang. So this opened the discussion to cosmology. And the last one is a bubble chamber imprint from a Fermilab, really old bubble chamber that we recreate in the fabric to speak about particle interactions. But coming back to the neutrino kimono, so we have the crazy idea to introduce a neutrino talk into a fashion week in Mexico that was happening in a university that was called the Tecnológico de Monterrey with the Department of Art that was next to the Department of Physics, but they don't have relations really. So they give us 3 days to create something to talk about neutrino. We make the first day an open session to discuss about this creation that was in process in between the designer and the scientific team of the Hypercambio Candela experiment in Mexico. And then we have the opportunity to have a conference in between the scientific, the designer, and the students and all the people that was invited to this fashion week. And the last day was a photo session with the model and a more professional approach from the point of view of design. So I was trying to make an evaluation in these conditions even if it was very difficult because I was trying to introduce a neutrino kimono in a fashion week, so I have no idea. I will talk in the next slides how I was going to evaluate something. So the communication object is this neutrino kimono that you see is a kimono because the Hyper Kamiokande experiment is going to be in Japan. And you see the golden spheres that are a representation of the photomultipliers in the real experiment for particle detections. And also the kimono changed the color 3 times. If you give different lights, it changes the color to open the discussion about the oscillation of neutrino. That is a property that changes this flavor. Let's say it's a property. In different times, you measure it in the space. So that was the idea to try to open the dialogue with this design. And we have this methodological challenge because we have no previous idea or indication that how the audience was going to react to this proposition. They are not there for speaking about neutrino. They are there for the fashion, for the innovation. And I was in remote coordination, and the only possibility to get data was through institutional emails and to QR codes that they were going to project if I say it in the event. So, of course, my planification for the evaluation was trying to make before, during, and after evaluation. We all dream to get all the data, to get the comparison. So my idea is try to understand if they can associate something with the word neutrino, but also about science, particle, and design, fashion, mode. And also trying to understand if this audience was previously engaged in other science communication activities. Doesn't mean it is neutrino, but other things, to profile if we finally reach a new public or it was a public already interested in science or in science communication events. What happens in reality is that when I try to make a pre-event survey, I only get 3 responses of the participants of the Fashion Revolution Week. So really sad, but I changed my strategy and I try to create a before and after surveys in the event. So see if I can get some data to compare if something changed with the exposition to this proposition. And this is where I'm going to focus in the next slides. So one of the questions that were projected when the people enter to the event is that they can associate something with the word neutrino. And you can say anything you want. I create some categories to try to classify these answers I get. But the really interesting thing is in the next slide. Here. So most of the people, when they enter to the event, they say they don't know anything about neutrino. They don't know, or they give a blank answer. They don't put anything. And some other people have lexical confusion. This is the category I create. They relate that is something with the brain, with neurons, I don't know. Some things that they associate that can be similar, but at the end has nothing to do. But when the event ends and we make another survey, you can see that all the lack of knowledge and this lexical confusion totally disappears. And with the specific physical traits of neutrino, at the beginning of the event, this is tricky, they only can say it's neutral by association of the word neutrino maybe, but they don't know what is. But at the end of the event, they can put characteristics as this is a low mass particle that oscillate, that is really difficult to detect, that is neutral, but that we are trying to reach this knowledge with experiments that are happening around the world. So that for me was a win. And there was a little variation in other associations, metaphoric, like something cosmic, that's something that is everywhere. I'm not claiming that we can see a real learning, let's say, from this evaluation, but at the end, we can think that something has changed with the exposure of this dress. So I also asked a question if they were previously in the last 2 years, I think I made the question, were really into science communication events, and most of them say no, they didn't go to any science communication or science events, and they, of course, they never hear about the experiment Hipercamiocande, even if they was happening, the construction of the detector was happening in the next department, the physics department, and more than half of them say they were interested in science communication events. We don't know if it's because of this event or because of previous interest that they were not able to find an activity they really like. So my big question here was this change of interest, of this change of associations with the word neutrino was because the exposition of the dress or because of the tag, or maybe a combination of both. Well, we cannot know. Maybe if you go to a neutrino conference and you make the same survey, you can get better results. But the important fact here is that we reach an audience that says, at least in the 2 last year, they didn't go to any communication activity. So to finalize my presentation, we seems to create a field for new interactions with this kind of new public, let's say. And the scientific team that participate in the event was really, really surprised by the quantity and the depth of the audience questions. They really didn't expect any interaction, but it comes really well. And of course, you can see the increasingly difference in between the pre and the post-event surveys that seems that something changed before and after this event. So thank you very much, and feel free to reach me if you think we can collaborate in this or in other projects. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Really interesting and really nice out-of-the-box way of getting to different audiences. Let's see if there's some questions online. Let's see, no questions online. And here, some questions here. Any questions?
Hi, Maria. I would like to know if you think that maybe I like this kind of contamination of events. So me. But do you think there may be even more participation if you propose some topic that is a little bit more familiar than neutrino to the public that is not involved in science?
Yes, of course, it's a possibility. But at the time, we only have the neutrino team that wants to co-create this kind of things. But maybe this is a door that opens for other type of topics that are less abstract to discuss and to contaminate, as you say, to the with these events. We also invite the scientific community for the physics department to the Fashion Week. We didn't make it. No one make it.
There's another question.
Hi, Maria. Can you hear me? This is Laszlo from Budapest, Hungary. I'm curious about that muon detector plus the thing which flashes.
Yeah.
Is it available to order one or two from your lab?
No, but we can build something. Is something not too complicated to make and not too expensive. So if you can go to the webpage,
the order of magnitude in the level of €1,000 per
less.
Okay,
less.
thanks.
Yeah. So write me and we can manage a way to share this. Of course.
I think you could commercialize it. You will have some orders, I would say.
I'm never interested in commercialize it. I work for open science, but
I know, of course. But I
will wear that in the street. Yes, I will wear that in the street.
Okay. Any other question? No. So let's thank the speaker again.
Thank you.
And now we move to in person. The next talk is from Katia. Can go. And she will talk about how do students benefit from astrobiology labs in an astronomical observatory setting, insights from a questionnaire study. And
Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here with me. Before describing the activity and the research itself, I would like to briefly present the foundation I work for. And the foundation I work for is mainly involved in 3 areas, which is scientific research, technology transfer, and public outreach and education. About scientific research, we are involved in projects that use, for example, machine learning and artificial intelligence to collect data and to analyze data to study galaxy clusters and cosmological parameters, for example. But we also have a team to do research on science communication, science outreach, astronomy education, and so on. And this is my main field of work. Of course, about technology transfer, one example is the project involving the data from the Copernicus satellite to identify meltwater lakes in the Alpine Arc, so we can better manage environmental risk conditions. And about public outreach and education, it is not secondary at all. In our Astronomical Observatory, we work also in public outreach and education as a main part of our job. We regularly organize night observation with general public, with schools, with the children of every age, every level of school. And so on. And we also have a broad educational offer for schools and for children, for students of every level of education. So we can offer them plenty of activities to do in our facility. Can we go to the next slide, or I can skip it by myself? No, okay. Okay, can I have, we can skip the next slide and go to the other one, please. Can you hear me? Okay, the next one. Okay, thank you very much. No, the previous one. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, this is the Astronomical Observatory in which I work. We are situated on the northwest of Italian Alps at almost 1,700 meters above sea level, so it's quite hard to get there, but it's a beautiful place to work. And these are 2 aerial views of the facility. As you can see, we have many spaces to dedicate to research and to education. We have a 81 centimeter telescope that is our main telescope. You can see that in the main dome, the bigger dome in the picture. We have a scientific terrace and heliostat to do solar observations, even with the students, and educational terrace. You can see that, let's say, on the left of the facility. The educational terrace is equipped with 7 telescopes, and we use them with the students and the general public, so we can accommodate up to 70 people to use those telescopes and to do night observation. We can go to the next slide. Thank you. We don't do only activities at night, but as I told you before, we offer a broad amount of activities, especially for school, and the environment is particularly important because it offers to students the possibility to be immersed in a real scientific setting instead of a traditional classroom. So there is more engagement, there is more emotional connection with the situation. And about our activities, there is one of the most successful, that is our astrobiology lab. The activity is divided in 2 main parts. The first part is an introductory lecture in which we help students become familiar with some concept like the habitable zone, the exoplanets, the discovery of exoplanets, the more interesting exoplanets considering an astrobiological point of view, extreme environmental conditions within our solar system, and extremophiles. the part of extremophiles is particularly important for us because the presence of extremophiles here on Earth demonstrates that life can thrive even in situations where it seems impossible, so in an environment that doesn't seem compatible with life. And this led the students to reflect on the possibility of life beyond Earth. So after the lecture, we proceed with the activity, and considering the activity, students at first become familiar with the microscope and the use of its basic operations. Then they have to prepare a slide with water collected from our paludarium. So we have kind of an aquarium, but it's something a little weird to see. And they have to search for living diatoms. After that, they have to observe fixed diatom on a prepared slide, so they can see more clearly the structure, they can compare observation, and so on. And finally, they prepare one last slide with water extracted from a rehydrated lichen sample, so they can look for tardigrades, so the champions of extremotolerant organism, but it's really incredible for students to find this organism inside a drop of water. So unsurprisingly, this is the most exciting moment of the entire activity. And we observed a lot of excitement, a lot of emotional engagement with the students. So we were wondering how far can our activity go with the students? And we decided to investigate that through a research project. Can we go with the next slide, please? Okay. So we came up with 3 research questions. The first, as you can see, is the laboratory activity able to effectively convey the concepts and the methodology of astrobiology? So it's mainly notions about that. The second, is the activity able to enhance awareness about astrobiology, concrete applications and contributions? So we can see the usefulness of astrobiology. And finally, does the activity effectively engage students, encouraging their curiosity and participation in scientific activities? So these are our main research questions. And we investigated that through 2 questionnaires. One gave to the students before and one after the activity. The second questionnaire also included 2 open-ended questions to investigate their opinion about the most positive and the most negative things inside the activity, if there were any, of course. The questionnaires were 5-point Likert scale questionnaires. And we can go with the next slide, please. The results of the questionnaire were interesting because about notion, there were no significant differences after the activity, but it's not surprising because we are not focused on learning, classic learning like in classroom. So it's okay. About usefulness, it seems that students became more confident in the fact that astrobiology is something useful for research, for scientific advancement, at least. But the third research question is about, let's say, self-awareness, self-confidence in science, and that showed a sharp increase, showing that students need to do things to not only to learn, to passive learning things. We can go on with the next slide, please. And this result is highlighted even from this word cloud. It's in Italian, of course, but as you can see, the word tardigrado, that is tardigrade, of course, it's the more mentioned from the open-ended questions. So students were really, let's say, involved in the search of the tardigrade, and the laboratory too was really interesting for them. I wanted to cite one of the response of the students that said, "I've learned a great deal of new information, but above all, I've gained new skills. I now have a better understanding of how a microscope works, and have learned how to use it." So he didn't just passively learn something, but the student told us that it was able to do something. So it's not passive, it's active learning in this case. We can go on with the last slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay. And this is particularly important because a high self-esteem and high scientific confidence, let's say, is linked to a better academic performance. And studies demonstrate that when a student has more confidence, has more self-confidence, there is a higher probability that choose a STEM career, even in an academic field. So I think this goes beyond the effect of the laboratory, but demonstrate, of course, in a preliminary way, that if we do more of this kind of activities, we can go beyond the activity itself and involve more students in science. Thank you very much. I think there is one last slide, the next one, so you can have my contacts, of course. There we are. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the interesting talk. Let's see if there are some questions online first, as always. Let's see if there's some question. No questions online. Everybody's really silent. Some question here. One.
Sorry, where you can find your material for microscope, like tardigrades or other object to see?
It's everything self-made. We have the paludarium in our facility, in our laboratory. We have prepared slides that were made by one of my colleagues, and the lichens are collected from the roofs of the houses around the facility. So it's really all self-made.
It is more a comment. I think that it is more, super important to this kind of work because you can guide to the students to select this kind of degrees, no, the science degrees, and it is. I think that it is one of the main objectives of the outreach science, no. And then I want to ask you how you can to quantify this
the impact of the activity.
Yes, thank you.
At the moment, we are still thinking about that. At the moment, the main way is to do questionnaires, but even questionnaires may be biased because students feel a little bit forced to be better than what they really are. So they want to give better answers. They want to be good students somehow. So there is another way, but it's not so easy because you have to have someone that observe reactions, collect spontaneous reactions during the entire activity, and maybe even someone that do interviews with the teachers, so we can see if there is a change after the activity, something like that. It's not that easy. Anyway, questionnaire still works pretty well, especially if you give the students the possibility to express themselves in a little bit of more free way, so they can say what they want. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your presentation, for your sharing the work with us. I just have a question. All the workshops are in person, so for the students, do you have any plans to do them as a citizen science where people from outside Italy can even join? And
we are thinking about some projects, but it's not so easy for us. We are wondering what to do and how to do that, because honestly, the pandemic situation forced us to try something online, but we didn't get much of a response. So even this research project had one last questionnaire. I told you about two, but it were there were 3, and the last questionnaire were given to the students online after, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks from the activity. But we didn't collect enough data to even do the comparison with the first 2. So we would like to do something more inclusive, let's say, but it's not so easy to get the answers. Thank you very much.
So let's thank Katia once more. And let's move to the next speaker, is Laszlo from Hungary. He'll talk about acting as a smartfluencer highway. You have your own clock? Oh, perfect. To hell or to heaven. So the floor is...
Thank you very much. Okay, so the presentation is here. This is going to be a very personal, with hopefully some general conclusions as well. So I'm a professional astronomer, a research professor at the Concoli Observatory, which is by far the largest astronomical institution in Hungary. And I'm also Director General, the main employer of almost 200 people in the Research Center of Astronomy and Earth Sciences. Next slide, please. My background, if we get the next slide, okay. So I have 3 periods of my professional life. First, I did my university studies back in Hungary, 1999 to 2002. That's where I did my master's. That's where I got my PhD. My professional background is physics of stars, stellar oscillations. Okay. I hate this side. Anyway, so my professional background is stellar physics and stellar oscillations, then later on exoplanets, and later on planetary defense and near-Earth objects. So anyway, after spending almost about 11 years at University of Szeged, I moved to Australia at the University of Sydney, where I was a postdoctoral fellow. And then I switched some of my professional activities. And then in 2009, 17 years ago, I moved back to Hungary, to the Concoli Observatory, and I went over to the top, to becoming the big boss with capital B's. Next slide, please. The reason or why I got back to Hungary was a new initiative by the Hungarian Academy of Sciences, which is called the Momentum Fellowship, that was aimed at attracting young Hungarian researchers back to the country. As a matter of fact, I got roughly 1 million euros for 5 years to build my own research group in Hungary, and then later on act as one of the young new research leaders in the country. And this project of the Academy, the Hungarian Academy of Sciences, which is still running after 17 years, got very positive reception both by the media and politics, both from the left and from the right. So this was really a national topic, attracting young Hungarian researchers who are working abroad or preventing them to leave. So this is against the brain drain. So anyway, I felt when I moved back to Hungary from Australia that the academy was really waiting a real success communication from me. So when the first time I was invited to a mass media, an electronic media in Hungary, I accepted. And then that was followed by subsequently a plentiful of invitation. Next slide, please. In 2010, the Academy negotiated my first appearance on the national television. And then the journalists somehow discovered that this guy can talk. And then I got invitations year from year, and every second month, every third month, every month, sometimes every week. Tomorrow, 10:45, I'm going to be called by a national Hungarian radio station because they want my expertise. And this got me a visibility. Next slide, please. If we get the next slide as I intended, no, unfortunately, there is a hidden Google search. If you just Google my name and astronomer in Hungarian, Csillagász, Google offers various options. What kind of research do you want to do? The 7th is the wife of Laszlo, the astronomer. So there is a visibility generally in the society, and that led to my overall visibility, not among professionals, not among amateur astronomers, but also among the general population. Next slide, please. COVID changed things a lot. If you remember, some of you may remember, in 2020, actually late 2019, the European Space Agency wanted to celebrate the 30 years of Hubble Space Telescope. And in April 2020, it was planned to showcase a new picture by HST. That was NGC 2020, and then COVID hit, and all across Europe, organizers just stopped the organizing of events. And then we decided, let's make an online event. So without any advertisement, we created an online, a live Facebook stream, which attracted almost 130 people, whereas our lecture room in which we wanted to organize the meeting has only a capacity of 50 people. So switching online immediately increased the reach by a factor of 3 roughly. And after the event, it was of course seen by thousands of people. And then I realized that there is fantasy, or there is imagination. This captured my imagination. So I also opened my YouTube channel 5 years ago by allowing people to comment on it. I did in the past 5 years, almost 500 videos, in total 520 hours. And this is not just about this week reaching the 5 millionth view with 3 million hours of viewing time. So these are typically longish videos. There I experimented various types of videos. I had a very serious live series of live astronomy with Laszlo, the astronomer, which went to 10 seasons, in total 100 episodes. That was really something which brought to the broader audience in Hungary. And next slide, please. And that was also followed by this general being known to a general place of being acknowledged. So this is I often say that there is no astronomical topic without the Hertzsprung-Russell diagram. Of course, this is the same thing. But of course, here what we see, this was created a few years ago by a British astronomer. X-axis shows, of course, the reverse way, the number of peer-reviewed scientific papers. Many papers on the left, not few papers on the right. And the number of Google hits on the y-axis. Low number of hits in the lower right corner, and upper right corner, mega Google, kilo Googles and mega Googles. And we have various branches, like with the stars. We have the proto-astronomers in the lower right corner. We have the main carrier sequence, where you increase your publication output and you increase your Google hits. You have dark astronomers, plenty of papers, not many Google hits. You have media stars with not many papers, but plenty of Google hits, who are always everywhere. And then you have the academic giants. And there are some names also showcased. The blue star is my position a few years ago. Next slide, please. This general visibility and knowledge in the Hungarian population led to a very interesting invitation 2 years ago. An event organizing company approached me. Why don't you go around the country and give lectures to the public? I accepted the challenge. And these are not just lectures. I play with online tools with my audiences, and typically I give away some presents to them. So this is a fully interactive scientific shows to the public. And next slide, please. I have visited in the past 2 years. This is the map of Hungary. All the red stars are the cities which I visited in the past 2 years. A typical season starts in October, finishes in April, so 6 months. There's the autumn to spring season. In the first season, I had 27 appearances with 600 and 400 visitors. The year after, I had 32 presentations with 8,400 visitors. In total, I reached 15,000 people who paid entrance fees. So this is a fully commercialized thing. The typical price for an entrance is about 25 euros. So it's not that cheap, at least in Hungary. And it is very, very successful. And this visibility, next slide, please, led to the largest commercial television in Hungary, RTL Hungary, to invite me last year which is not shown, unfortunately, which is outside the view, as to participate in a crime reality show called Traitors. Some of you may know Traitors because it's a very successful crime reality show. at more than 20 countries have different versions. This was the 4th season with Hungarian celebrities. Next slide, please. And I managed to stay in the game for 10 days, and a fully new brand was created thanks to this television show. That's Tudós Laci, which is Laci the scientist. Laci is nickname for Laszlo. And after this was featured last October, I really get, people knowing me, recognizing me, and and I also feel that I have a much broader reach. Next slide, please. Just a tiny little example what kind of spin-offs exist. This is not really well presented. This is a PPT. I think someone converted it to PDF. It shouldn't have been converted. So a touristic agency also approached me. Why don't we organize visits to the Kennedy Space Center to watch rocket launches live? And we did this 3 times already. And what turned out to be the case that all the people on the trip were my followers. So Laszlo Kis fans. And the final next slide, please. The last slide, please. So what I experienced in the past 5 years, since I decided to go fully public and fully being visible to the whole population, that before I had this my own social media bubble, I would say in the order of thousands of people, maybe 2,000 people in total. I had these regular expert appearances. I started doing these live streams and then later edited video features on YouTube and Facebook. I had this Tour de Hungary, this live interactive shows, and my participation in Traitors and other commercial TV products also helped really to push this oval of influence. And these days, I can claim that I reach hundreds of thousands of people in Hungary. Hungary has 9 million people, 9.5 million people. So still a long way to get to get to 10% of the population. That 1% is already, it's done. So what my conclusion here would be is that if you are a professional astronomer and if you have the right attitude and you really feel comfortable to talk to completely completely unknown people, please do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow, a very successful story. Let's see if there's some questions online, Aysegul. Yes, there's a question. How do you measure the impact of your talks to 15,000 visitors? How do you measure the impact?
The way, for example, I have this my public talks are, it's a series of talks. And whenever I go back to the same place, I have this online questionnaire to my audience. Have you been here in the last time? And typically 2/3 are returners. Okay. So I do perfectly well how many people are newcomers and how many are returnees. And I also, the fraction of participation in my online shows, online trivia at the end, it is also a very good measure of how engaged the audience became.
Okay, thank you. More questions online? I don't think so. Some questions here in the room. There's one back there.
Thank you. What do you think is needed to be this, let's say, famous, to be so connected with the people? Because sometimes I see on my social media accounts people that do science communication on diverse topics, of course, but they don't seem to be able to get to so many people.
I think my major strength, it is going to be an arrogant statement, but anyway, I will make it. My major strength is the use of humor.
Any more questions? Well, so I will just ask one out of curiosity because I see it happen in other places. When you become the scientist, you start getting invited to talk about all kinds of science. Does this happen to you also? There's something with volcanoes, they call you. There's something with climate change, they call you. It happens?
Not necessarily. What I found is that I'm getting more and more invited by companies for company events, huge banks. The last 2 weeks ago, the American Commerce Chamber had an event, and I was invited to give a keynote speech about Space Economy 101. So that kind of stuff. So I usually try to keep within the space circles. I don't want to act as if I'm an expert in other branches of sciences. I don't feel comfortable going away from my major thing, which is astronomy and space research.
Yeah, but are you invited?
I am there, but then I decline.
Okay.
I have enough. I have
Yes,
more than
enough.
enough on my
No,
my
that's
menu.
amazing. You get to different audiences. So let's thank again our speaker and invite our last speaker of this session, Narong Metpada from Thailand. He will talk about bringing gravitational wave science and public understanding through an interactive exhibit evaluation. Go on. I will tell you when there's 3 and 1 minute to go. Go.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Narong Metpada, and I am a PhD student in astronomy at Chiang Mai University, Thailand. Today, I will present our work on bridging gravitational wave science and public understanding through an interactive exhibit evaluation. In particular, this study examines how visitors understand and interpret gravitational wave concept after interacting with the exhibit in a science museum setting. Next slide, please. Okay, gravitational wave are one of the most important discovery in modern physics, but they are difficult to communicate to the public. They are invisible, extremely small, and detected only indirectly using instruments like an interferometer. Unlike many physical phenomena, people have no direct experience of them. As a result, gravitational wave science can feel highly abstract and far from everyday experience. So the challenge is how do we turn invisible physics into something people can meaningful experience. Next, please. Gravitational waves are ripple in space-time produced by accelerating massive objects, especially binary system. As the wave passes, space itself stretches and compresses. This effect is called strain. We detect this wave by measuring tiny distance changes using laser interferometry. Importantly, gravitational waves are not like a sound or a water wave. They do not travel through a material medium, and they cannot be seen directly. So one important learning challenge is separating the visual analogy from the real physics. Next, please. Okay, this is the exhibit. We use a straight spandex membrane as a space-time analog. A rotating two-mass system represents a binary source, while a laser grid make the ripple motion visible. Visitor control two parameters: speed with changes of frequency and depth with changes amplitude. We also include an interferometer animation to connect the model to real gravitational wave detection. The goal is to bridge abstract physics with visible interactive experience. Next, please. To move from the visual exhibit to something we can measure, we convert the ripple motion into a signal. The exhibit mainly represents the inspired phase of a binary system, not the merger itself. We capture the motion using high-speed video at 1,000 frames per second. Then track the ripple frame by frame to extract displacement. From this, we reconstruct a time series dataset of T, representing the exhibit ripple motion over time. Importantly, dataset of T is not gravitational wave strain. It is a measurable proxy of the exhibit behavior. We then use harmonic fitting to characterize features such as frequency and waveform structure. Next, please. To evaluate learning, we conducted a post-interaction study in a real museum setting in Chiang Mai province, Thailand. We collected data from 102 visitors aged 10 to 15. The questionnaire included multiple choice questions for conceptual understanding and yes/no item for misconception and Likert scale for attitude. Importantly, this was post-interaction only with no pre-test or control intervention. So what we capture here is real-world visitor learning. Next, please. Overall, visitors show moderate conceptual understanding after interacting with the exhibit. Most visitors recognize the basic idea that gravitational waves are ripple in space-time produced by binary system. However, understanding becomes weaker for deeper concepts, especially strain wave mechanism and gravitational wave detection. The weakest result involve the stress compress effect of space-time, suggesting that many visitors recognize the concept, but could not fully expand how it physical work. So overall, visitors understand the big idea, but deeper mechanism level understanding remain limited. Next, please. When we look at misconception, we see persistent pattern. Many visitors interpret gravitational wave as mechanical vibration. Detection is also confusion. Some visitors believe interferometer use sound or that telescope directly detect gravitational wave. This suggests that people often interpret new concept using familiar everyday wave idea. Next, please. In contrast, next, please. Okay. In contrast, attitudes are very positive. Visitors report high enjoyment and strong curiosity about gravitational wave. However, confidence expanding the concept is noticeably lower. So we observe a clear gap. Visitors enjoy the exhibit, but expanding the science remain difficult. This suggests that engagement alone does not guarantee deep understanding. Next slide, please. Finally, we examine whether visitors connect ideas across different questions. The strongest pattern is a definition mechanism gap. Many visitors recognize gravitational wave as ripple in space-time, but could not expand the stress compress effect of a strain. Thank you. We also observe a namely function gap. Some visitors recognize terms like a LIGO or interferometer without understanding how detection works. In addition, mechanical wave thinking persisted. Even after selected laser interferometry, many visitors still believe interferometer use sound wave. So overall, understanding appear fragmented rather than fully integrated. Next slide, please. Okay, the last. Overall, the exhibit support engagement and initial understanding. Visitors understand the basic idea of gravitational wave, but deeper understanding of mechanism and detection remain limited. Misconception also persists. especially interpret gravitational wave using everyday wave idea. So the central message of this work, making invisible physics visible is not enough. We must also make it expandable. Okay, next. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. And it's very interesting, and it's really a hard topic to put in an exhibition. So amazing. Let's see if there are some questions online first. No questions online. And here, there are questions.
Hi, this is super interesting. I'm wondering, sort of taking to your takeaway on the last slide, I'm wondering what your future efforts are going to be to try and make it more explainable.
Yes, we are thinking to do something in the future. This is only temporarily exhibit in museum. So in the future, we will connect to museum to make something. Yeah.
And just one more question. Yeah. Is this publicly available? The exhibit?
Not yet public.
Okay. Thank you.
As soon as possible, we will publish paper.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Did you make the exhibit yourself, or did you contract someone?
Yes, myself, yes.
Can you talk about the materials you used, the structure of the exhibit?
Okay. Slide 4, maybe. I use main fabric like a spandex, right? Okay. This fabric of spandex fabric, yes, and this is mortar. It's mortar, and two row generate the wave, right? And laser clip by, you can see laser and maybe like some show clip, and I made control up and down, right? And control speed of motor. Yes.
So on the next slide, you talked about how you analyze the data to actually get the waveform.
Yes.
Could you talk about the code that you wrote for that as well?
Okay. First one, we record high speed video at 1,000 frame per second, and then we use tagger software to follow 2 point, and then convert to we will get this displacement of 2 point. Then we use triangle. I mean 2 point small, 2 point small and bigger, small bigger. Then use displacement to compute amplitude of the wave, right? This we analyze like a harmonic to tell this exhibit in as a in how to say in spiral, only in spiral of phase back home motor or a binary system. No. Not this exhibit not represent merger of system. Yes.
Well, I think also no questions online. Let me get a last check. Oh, maybe. No. Okay, so let's thank our speaker and all the other speakers of this session.